Hey YouTube, I'm about to show you some of my favorite clips from my interview with Ed and Phoebe from SWlNGER University podcast. We did a video chat. Unfortunately, their audio got corrupted, and so I've done my best to patch together what I could. But if you want to listen to the whole episode, you've got to come to either Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, wherever. My link is in the description, and you can see episode 7, which is an interview with Ed and Phoebe. I went home empty-handed.
Oh,
so I'm telling you. Us unicorns can strike out too.
That's so interesting because I keep hearing over and over and over again how couples start off with a third, and the third is usually a woman. And so I guess, I don't know. It's got to be hit and miss.
I wonder if either the dynamic in the lifestyle has changed over time from like when we first started, where that was really the thing, or it's just too intimidating to walk up to an attractive single woman and make that connection. Like maybe everybody feels safer behind a keyboard making that connection.
Yeah. That's the thing about the lifestyle too, is you really have to grow into your confidence. We did that as well. We both identify as introverts, but we've learned to be ambiverts, and we have to turn it on. It's almost like I step into an acting job. It's not, but it's not who I really am 24/7, right? I prefer to be quiet and then to myself, but in the right social setting, I need a lot of activity, a lot of stimulation to bring me up, because it's very, a lot of social interaction can be depleting. So if there's not a lot of music, a lot of people, I have to feed off of that. Maybe I'm a social vampire. I don't know what you call that, but it's draining. And so I've learned to adapt, right? Because you have to. It's a social environment. You have to be able to do that and ask for what you want. Right. I never used to ask for what I want. I got tired of having shitty sexual experiences, and I was like, screw that. I'm going to say, do this. I want that, harder, faster, slower, flip me over, right? Because we're there to have a pleasurable experience. And if you can't ask for what you want, you're going to be disappointed, because someone once said a long time ago, you're in charge of your own orgasm. Right? So the lifestyle has really taught me to be very confident, be more of an extrovert, and to ask for what I want.
And to learn what you want. I know a lot of people, when I help them fulfill their fantasies, I was like, so what can I hook you up with? The look of pondering on people's faces when you ask them what they like in sex is confusing to me, because I'm like, wow, we've got so far to go still. But yes. But then when they land the play, they're like, okay, I want this, and I want to be touched, and I want to be, reaffirmations. I don't want degrading. Like they can be clear. Then I do my little hustle thingy, which again is not for money. I do this pro bono, pro boner.
I like that.
Right? So I basically match make out these clubs, and my friends, I help them have gangbangs and stuff on the DTF nights at the sex club, which are down to fuck nights. And here's an extra element that I didn't mention yet, but I come across on my whole YouTube channel with a very, an admiration and respect for men. I studied women's studies in university and wrote papers on how men were oppressed under patriarchy, because it's also worth mentioning, not just the other side, right? And so I have always been in this lifestyle to represent the single man as well, and their needs and their issues too. And so when I run a scene, I have hard limits for the people I help, because they have hard limits, no anal, right? Whatever. My hard limit is that I'm not there to ruin anyone's night. And if someone is not welcome at a gangbang, there's polite ways to disinvite them. We're not going to embarrass anybody if their dick doesn't work. Like, I say this to the people and they consent before I'll continue. Because these are real people, real guys that have shown up to take a chance. And I see the nervousness and vulnerability in them where maybe other people don't.
Right.
And I'm an empath too. I feel it, right? And so for me, I want those men, no matter if their dick fails them or not, to feel supported, to feel invited, and that they were part of something fun, and not that they are, I'm not gonna lie, I've seen people discard men in the middle of a scene because their dick went down.
Oh.
Like, you can imagine that happens because they have a, oh, your dick's down, we need a new dick. I didn't hear that, I understand. But that poor person now is gonna go home with that feeling of being worth nothing more than his erection.
Right.
And so I'm just, I couldn't facilitate something like that. So
Sure.
for me, I like that it's really well balanced on all of the sides as well. And I also ask the men, what is it that you like? Do you want to come in her, do you want to come in her mouth? Are you looking for somebody to come down her throat? Like, let me match you up, because it's the guys are there for something too,
Yeah.
Wow, I love that. Nobody does that.
Checking calendar and travel trips
Yep.
to Toronto.
If you do come to Toronto, I would be happy to facilitate whichever scene you could come up with, but I would have to be able to weigh in on the night that you show up, because you can't have a gangbang on like a random Monday. You just won't have enough supplies.
Yeah, you got to have the right players in the club to make
Yes.
something like that happen, for sure. For sure.
I have to mention one thing about the introvert. So I met some introverted people at the club the other day, and I was my own comedian self. And I was talking about how I can't wait to do a video on how the introverts can thrive at a sex club. And I hid myself behind the curtain, and I was like, you can watch from behind the curtain. Like, I was like, you don't have to socialize. You can be behind the curtain and things like that. Because it's a real struggle, right? Like introverts have a real struggle to be around all of this stuff. But
The thing that helped us the most was to just keep going. And eventually the environment started to become more comfortable, because the scene was comfortable. It became predictable. The crowd became predictable. And with that level of comfort, then I could relax and be, more open and more extroverted.
Number one kind of trick or tip that we throw out for new swingers or people who are maybe going for the first time to some new environment is introduce yourself to at least one couple. At least one couple. That's your commitment for the night. And what it does, it forces you to break the ice and start the ball rolling. Because once you've had that conversation, you loosen up a little bit, you have some fun, and then you go, oh, there's another cute couple, and I've already done this one, so I kind of feel okay. And then you go and have more fun.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's true. I did video tours of all the sex clubs, and I actually mentioned on some of my videos about you need to know where you can cry. If you're a girl and you need a moment, you need to know if there's a spot where you could go and like have a moment. Because I've cried for a few reasons, not related to necessarily anything at the club, but if you're having an anxiety attack, if you're an introvert and need to get a minute away, I feel like that's the kind of stuff that would help if on my channel to be like, these are the clubs that I recommend if you're introverted, because there is privacy and there is quiet spaces, right? Or versus the other ones that don't. So yeah, this is a good topic I'll probably bring up. And when I do it, you'll know it's a bit of a wink to you guys.
Yay. Awesome.